Hello and welcome back. So I got the programmer on it now and I was able to reprogram it, and I've disabled the contactors because we saw that when that was peak it draws about 2 amps when it's kicking them in, and then we're drawing about 1.3 amps or so continuous when we're running. And I just want to show you the difference with that. I have the contactors disabled now, and I'll go ahead and click it on. And you can see we draw about half an amp. So we're powering, I've also moved the scope over to the DC bus, so you can actually see that coming on here when I flip it on. See, it jumps to 5, and then the boost converter takes up to 12. It's nice and stable, there's no ripple. You only get ripple when the contactors are on, or you're running off one of these packs, because they have generated a lot of ripple. And you can see we're still putting out 11.91 volts. But the boost converter thinks it's putting out an actual 12. You can see the PWM values jumping around now. Is less than when we were running the contactors. And we do have the BMS hooked up as well. So what I can do is go ahead and pause it and unplug that. So then we'll just see how much quiescent current it takes to run the display and the micro and CAN bus, everything else locally without anything hooked up. So again, as you can see, we're drawing with just the BMS and the Pack Sniffer. We draw half an amp at 5 volts, so that's not how much we're drawing at 12 volts. So we'll go ahead and kill this, and I'm going to pause it, and I will disconnect that. So pause. It's like magic. It just popped itself open. But anyways, so now we'll do the same thing. And I'll go ahead and flip this on. I'll get the power supply in the same picture here. You can see we are now only pulling about 250 milliamps, and again 12 volts, nice and stable out of the boost converter. You can see our PWM value dropped down significantly. Now we're maybe, I saw 600, so 580-ish. Again, it thinks it's putting out 12 volts, but in reality it's putting out still 11.92 volts, so close enough. But so just powering the Pack Sniffer on its own draws 250 milliamps at 5 volts, so that should be fine for programming. Most laptop USB ports put out half an amp. If you use a USB 3 port, I think you get that 2.1 amps, but I'm not 100% sure on that. You'd have to look that up. Depends on the ports on your computer anyway. But we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go and pause it again. I'm going to reprogram this to run the actual system and see what that looks like. And you know what we'll do? Well, we'll run it off of. We'll go ahead and run it off of this guy, just to show. Actually, you know what? I'll run it off of the power supply, and then I'll switch it over to this so you can see the difference in the ripple, because this thing puts out a lot of ripple. But still okay, because we're regulating the 12 down to 5 now, so it makes it, everything else doesn't see that ripple at all. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Okay, we're back, and you can see I've hooked everything back up. We'll be running the full deal here. I'm going to go ahead and flip it on, and we'll see what happens. Goes a contact. I don't have a page to show the contactors, but you can see everything reports back FFFF. So cell 1 is both the high and the low cell simultaneously. It's impressive. We have 255 bars and 255 kilowatts available. It's amazing. The best battery pack ever. Yeah, so it just reports bogus data when it's not running. But anyways, you can see same kind of deal. All of the contactors are on right now. You can kind of see there's a bit of ripple. This is on 2 volts a division, so it's a little fuzzy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not bad. This is running off the power supply, so we're drawing our 1.3 amps-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, and we will run it off of the battery pack, and I can show you the difference in the ripple there. But still gets it done. So I'll go ahead and kill power to it. And I'm going to pause it, and we're going to swap over to this guy. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're back. So yeah, easier than editing video software. You just hit the pause button on the phone. But I'll go ahead and fire it up with the power pack here. Do the same thing. And of course, it's going to give me the same bogus data. I don't know if you can hear this, but there's a little bit of a hum. And you might not be able to hear it, but it's coming from the power pack. It's not from this, it's from the power pack. But if I show you how much ripple we have now, look at this. Remember what it was before? Where it was pretty much a thin line. Now we've got like maybe, gosh, I don't know how much. Can't really, let me put on AC coupling here. And get that up. Yeah, my scope's going to have a little issues triggering on that, but we're talking maybe if I get it. Yeah, it's not like triggering on that, but one division is 500 millivolts. So we're getting just over 500 millivolts peak to peak of ripple, and that's actually not from. Oops! It just reset because the. Here, I'll show you that here in a second. It'll kick back on here in a second. There it goes, and then it'll kick the other contactor. There you go. What happens is the BMS unit goes to sleep, or it must send out a bunch of fault codes because it doesn't find any cells, and we'll stop communicating. And then I reboot. But yeah, you can see how much ripple we're getting, and that's all from the power pack. So yeah, you can see the when I power cycle it, the BMS, then it starts talking again. But after I've read all the data out, it doesn't respond anymore. And then, so when we get to cell 96, it goes out and tries to read it again, and it doesn't find it. It must have sent out a bunch of really cool CAN packets with a bunch of error messages in it, and I don't do anything with it. There's probably a reset command you can send it, but I don't know what that is. But I guess we can just show it coming all the way to the last cell here, and it'll just go ... and then reboot the system. So anyways, yeah, I'm happy with the performance. That ripple is a little annoying, but again, it's because of this guy. Yeah, see, like we'll just look forever and we won't find it. And then when that happens, it goes and does a power cycle reboot. Now it finds it. So anyways, it's kind of cool. But yeah, this ripple, I want to see if I can put a little bit bigger caps in there. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it works. It's fine. But it is half a volt to ripple, which is pretty bad. But well within the we do 12 volts down to 5, so it's well within the range. But yeah, it shows up pretty bad. I put this back on the same scale I had it before. You can really see it. I don't know if that's big enough to trigger on. There you go. But yep, lots of ripple. I'll go ahead and kill it here. I think I gotta hold it down. There you go. But it'll run off one of these packs, so I would call that good. I might do some little bit different things to get that better. The only other thing I'm looking at doing is I've got a 4-pin connector on here. I think a 4-pin C-grid. I think I'm going to upgrade to an 8-pin C-grid on this side to get those 3 I/O lines out, 3 open drains, and that other line that I have available, because it'll be 8 pins, uses up 7. I'm thinking that 8th pin is going to be an analog input, and then I can use it as an enable line, so you can either turn it on as a switch to enable the battery pack, or I can use it for dimming, because I know some people want to use these in their car, and I'm going to put the backlight on another PWM channel so that I can dim the backlight, so you can show you the high and the low cell constantly. Get better quality displays that don't flicker like this one does. When you do an update, it flickers the screen. I think you saw that in the video. That's not an artifact of it recording. That's just because... Oops, turn that off. That's just because we got some cheap displays. Let's see what else. For the other side, I think I'm going to do a... I've had requests for the second CAN bus to control battery chargers. This CAN bus on this side will run anything that doesn't have a conflicting ID at 500 kbaud, 500 kilobits per second, because that's what the BMS runs at. If your battery charger runs at 250 or 125 or 1 megabit, then they have to be separate CAN buses. You can't have different baud rates on CAN bus. So the second CAN bus, I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-row by 5, so 10-pin C-grid, just so you don't accidentally plug one in the wrong side. So they're different. And I'm going to replicate the exact same. You'll get 3 out bits, ground, CAN high and low, and 12 volts. So you can feed in 12 volts from this side, or you can feed in 12 volts from this side. Doesn't matter, doesn't care, they'll be connected together. So that will give you the second CAN bus. The remaining 2 pins, well, I think I'm going to do another analog input like I did on the other one, because analog inputs, you can use them for, you know, digital I/O. A digital input is just high or low, whereas the analog ones, you know, you can have a selector switch and put different resistor values across there and just put ranges so that you can actually read. That's what the automotive guys do all the time. They just set up ranges, and so they only have to use one I/O line. Simplifies things. So I'll probably do the same thing. It can still be used as an input, but it can also be used as a dimmer, or say you want to set, I don't know, who knows what new feature I've added. Takes an analog input. And then the remaining 2 lines out of that 10, I'm thinking would be RS-232. So you get your transmit and receive through one of these level translator chips. So it'll be true RS-232, not like UART. And that would be all configurable in of course, the config files. And I'll get rid of this DE9 because it's big and it takes up a lot of room. I think it'd be better served to have the other ones. Probably leave this is a micro SD card slot on the side here. I haven't done anything with it. Might implement that in the future for logging, data logging, and things like that, but there hasn't been very much need for that at all, but it's already on there, so I'll just probably leave it, just modify it. Get rid of all the prototyping area, because I need that room for all of the I/O and transistors and MOSFETs and stuff. And yeah, I think it's probably good enough stopping point. So if there's any other features or anything that you would like to see on this, let me know, because I need to know what before I do the layout. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.